not damning enough.
All right, let's move on to the second aspect of this now, and that is the decision to cut aid to Indonesian schools. We'll hear first from Kevin Rudd and Tony Abbott.
There would perhaps be one person in the world who would be happy with the new policy adopted by the Leader of the Opposition, and that's Abu Bakr Bashir, because he supports militant Islamism continuing in the Indonesian education system.
Look, if the Indonesian schools program turns out to be something of high value, we're prepared to look at it again down the track. But with so many schools destroyed or damaged in Australia, we do think that charity begins at home.
Now, charity begins at home. Is that a cliche, or is it a sort of a guiding principle for how you figure out your aid budget?
Well, no, that is the voice of a faction within the Liberal Party, a faction within Conservative Australia, which is very hostile to the whole notion of foreign aid. There is, and it's a continuum of Australian politics. These people are always there, and they are always saying, why do we pay tax in order that this be given in foreign aid? And it comes part of, to explain the passions that are going on here over the levy. I mean, levies are just traditional ways of raising funds by governments. There's nothing fancy about them. They happen all the time. But the passion here is because it is part of a radical anti-tax agenda, for which there is a lot of support within the opposition. And it's support that Abbott has been very effectively voicing. His attacks on Gillard for great big taxes is a very effective political campaign, and it is part of this bigger impulse about kind of the evils of tax and looming.
Earlier point, Andrew, the point that David made about it being there's a conservative view out there against foreign aid.
Yes, look, you touch on something here, David. I think you're wrong to say an objection to yet more taxes from a government that has wasted what we've given it so extravagantly is a radical thing. I actually think it's a sane, self-protective reaction. This government can't be trusted with money. But about the voice, giving voice to a particular sentiment, it does worry me a little. Because that line that Tony Abbott gave of charity begins at home and singling out the Indonesian school program as number one comes straight from an email that's been making all the rounds. Anyone that's a conservative in public life has been given, I don't know how many people have sent it to me, and I haven't ever, graced it with putting it out there. And it's a round email, the viral kind I mean. How can we give all this money to foreign aid when we're not looking after Queensland number one Indonesian schools? Yep. Okay. Now, I've got problems with some of the money to the Indonesian schools, as have people before this erupted, and that is a government that's building schools in Australia wastes billions, building schools in Indonesia. Can you be sure of the money? And it's right that should be reviewed. But that does worry me.